Now let's talk about Giving Tuesday.
Giving Tuesday.
Yeah, I want to know more.
So Giving Tuesday is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, after those big days like Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday. After all those days of enjoying, partaking, and shopping for yourself and your loved ones, this is a day to refocus yourself on the good that needs to be done in our community, on the good of helping others. And so in line with Share Omaha, it's not just about cash investment. It's about serving your neighbor. It's about random acts of kindness and volunteering for others. We call it a do-good takeover for the metro area. A do-good takeover for the metro area. You should be hearing about it everywhere.
Hello, this is Marco Rock. Welcome to Inside a Great Mind, where we interview entrepreneurs, game changer, achiever for the purpose to inspire and inform you. Today we're so thrilled for our guest, Marjorie Maas. How are you?
I am so great, Marco. It really means a lot that you invited me here today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for being on the show.
Marco, thank you.
Tell us, who's Marjorie Maas?
Who is Marjorie Maas?
Yes.
Oh my, that's a big question. Well, professionally, I'm the first executive director of Share Omaha, which I'll tell you more about in a little bit.
Okay.
I'm also a wife of 17 years, and I have a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old child that I mother. I'm a middle of 5 daughters, and a military transplant to the area when I was very young.
Very young, okay, awesome. As you mentioned, I was going to ask you what Share Omaha is, so let's just dive into it.
Sure. So Share Omaha, we are a conduit between nonprofits expressing what their needs are for more donations, volunteers, attendance at events, wish list items, and the public that really wants to get involved with what causes matter to them. So we do this primarily through shareomaha.org. It's our website. And it's very public facing. So when you go there and you're a public citizen that wants to get involved in the community, part of the giving public, it's very easy. It says, find nonprofits, volunteer, shop for good. And then there's a running calendar of events down below at the bottom of the website. But we do a lot of things off of the websites as well.
Okay.
So we host coffees for nonprofit organizations. We are planning engagement activities for the public to learn more about the nonprofit sector in 2020. We power Giving Tuesday, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. But we also just really try to show up where people are. So we worked a concert at Stinson Park this last year, and we hosted a volunteer and beer fair over at Flagship Commons, and just we try to show up where people are so they can learn about what ways there are to give back to the community, and so it feels like it's a part of everyday philanthropy.
I was just curious, where the idea of Share Omaha came from, and why the name Share. I was intrigued, to find out.
Well, I can't take credit for the name of Share,
okay,
but it's in line with doing good, and that one of the taglines of my sister city in Charlotte, North Carolina, is mean people don't share. This guy kind of thinks it's kind of funny, but sharing is about powering forward the good that you have inside you, right? Yeah. So they said that I'd say the software company Share Good that powers Share Charlotte in Charlotte, North Carolina, where the software was originated, scaled to Omaha first outside of Charlotte. And that's because of the philanthropic community of Omaha. The Suzanne Walter Scott Foundation, David Scott, and other believers that came on board from the philanthropic community, such as the Sherwood Foundation, the Robert B. Doherty Foundation, they said this is a tool that we want to see succeed in Omaha. And if it succeeds here, the idea is that it's going to succeed elsewhere in the country.
Exactly.
So Share Omaha it's almost a misnomer, because our whole footprint is actually 5 counties in Nebraska and 3 counties in southwestern Iowa. So we actually have offices at Exarban Village, and we have offices in Council Bluffs to make sure that we're present with the southwestern Iowa community.
But you guys just focus right now, on Omaha and Council Bluffs?
Primarily, yes, but we have rural communities that we're servicing, especially with the flooding, throughout the entire region.
Mm-hmm. So how Share Omaha is planning to change the giving culture in Omaha?
Well, We are in Omaha blessed that we have a day like Omaha Gives, that the Omaha Community Foundation powers in May of the year. But we want people to feel and know that they can give back, that they can volunteer, that their donation of time, talent, or resources is valuable any day. So changing the culture of giving should be that when you feel like there's a need in the community, that you feel like you don't have to wait until Omaha Gives, that you don't have to wait until fourth quarter.
Okay.
And we celebrate those days, and we fan the flames of our nonprofits in Omaha Gives, and we're powering Giving Tuesday for the end of fourth quarter. But we don't want people to feel like it's only about campaigns. That's why the website is powered 365. We want people to know that there's ways for them to get plugged in, to serve their community, to give back, to get to know a nonprofit any day of the year.
So it's not just about money, pretty much. It's about you can volunteer.
You can shop wish lists. You can do in-kind items that arrive at the nonprofit's doorstep through Amazon. You can attend an event. You can find out what's happening as far as fundraising events in the community. And we want people to know that they're welcome at those events as well. So if they're posted on our website, they're usually open to anybody in the public to attend.
So what is one of the successful story you can share with me about Share Omaha because you guys pretty new?
Yes, we launched in January.
This
January this year.
Wow,
It's only it has just been a year or only been a year. Which one is it?
You guys been there for 5 years.
Oh my gosh, it's been the most packed year of my life, to be quite honest. But I will tell you that we launched January 17th and the levees broke March 15th for the river.
Okay.
And that pivoted our efforts entirely for about a month and a half. So we saw that there were nonprofits. We knew there were nonprofits in our membership that were going to be activated because of the flooding emergency. And so we publicized their volunteer needs, we publicized their needs for in-kind items, we publicized their needs for just donations in general to keep neighborhoods thriving and working in the midst of that flooding. But the biggest success, I would say, that comes to mind first when I think of the flooding, that terrible emergency that we had, is that Omaha Rapid Response goes out into these rural communities and these communities that were affected by the flood, and they muck out the houses and they tear out the drywall and they help these people get back on their feet from a very practical perspective. And we raised hundreds of volunteers for this organization. And I would say that the volunteer posting that came through that was the most impactful for me to see was that there was a group that found our page from Arkansas. And they sent 70 volunteers up here, 50 youth, 20 chaperones.
Oh, they're from Arkansas?
From Arkansas. They saw our posting for Share Omaha for our flood page.
Okay.
And they sent 70 people up here for a week to work with Omaha Rapid Response to muck out houses and take care of Kings Lake community. It's a huge gift.
That's amazing.
It's a huge gift. And they may not have found that posting without Share Omaha. They may have gotten connected to another worthy cause elsewhere in the country, but they knew they wanted to help with the flooding, and they found a way to get connected to one of our nonprofit members through our website and our publicity. Couldn't be happier about that.
So we talk about what people can purchase item through as Amazon.
Yes, it's all through Amazon.
Okay,
so we call it shopping for good.
Okay.
And so nonprofits have the opportunity to post a wish list through Amazon Smile or a business page on their profiles on Share Omaha, and usually there's about 5 items that come up that are their featured items, and then you click through, and it's just like shopping on Amazon, like shopping for a wedding registry or a baby registry. Same thing. Be sure to include your information on the return ticket, as far as like who it came from, as far as the gift receipt, because otherwise the nonprofit doesn't always know that it came from you personally. And if you want to start a relationship with that nonprofit, that's the way they're going to know to thank you.
Wow. That's really interesting. I see now you have about 391 nonprofits.
Today we have 391 nonprofits. I'm hoping to get to 400 by the end of the year.
That's my question. Is there like any specific requirement for a nonprofit to be on your platform?
That's a great question.
And what's going to be the cap for you?
That's a great question. So they have to be in good standing with the IRS. So on the publication that the IRS publicizes that shares who's charitable eligible.
Okay.
That they have to have been conducting their services for at least a year. Okay. That they need to have a working website that has more information on it than just our profile does.
Okay.
So, but some people just have Facebook pages, or they just have a landing page, and we want people to be able to learn more, because we're a snapshot of the organization. We're not by any means the full realm of services that a nonprofit offers to their clientele and their stakeholders. So we need to have those three things in place, and that there's a local leader, and that they do service within our footprint, within our 8-county footprint. That's the only requirement.
That's the only requirement.
And every nonprofit that's posted on the page has cleared those requirements. So you can be assured that your gift will be charitably deductible, things of that nature.
Awesome. That's very cool. So your goal is to reach, you say 400?
400 by the end of 2019.
Okay.
I think our sweet spot's going to be about 450.
Okay.
We have nonprofits that start profiles and don't finish them. We have nonprofits that are new to us and new in the system. So total in our universe, we think there's about 525 nonprofits that could be members, but whether or not they have the staffing capacity to maintain a profile, or they have a website, things of that nature, we think we'll be probably at home about 450.
450.
When we get to full capacity. We don't have churches, schools, or clubs, membership clubs on the website, because they have their own volunteer and donation bases, and they're not usually soliciting those gifts and volunteers from the general public. So if you were to include churches and schools and membership clubs, you'd probably have more than 3,000 nonprofits just in the metro area. But that's a number I just took off the top of my head. But as far as nonprofits eligible for Share Omaha, about 450.
That's awesome. Now let's talk about Giving Tuesday.
Giving Tuesday.
Yeah, I want to know more.
So Giving Tuesday is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, after those big days like Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday. After all those days of enjoying, partaking, and shopping for yourself and your loved ones, this is a day to refocus yourself on the good that needs to be done in our community, on the good of helping others. And so in line with Share Omaha, it's not just about cash investment. It's about serving your neighbor. It's about random acts of kindness and volunteering for others. We call it a do-good takeover for the metro area. A do-good takeover for the metro area. You should be hearing about it everywhere.
Marjorie, who inspires you?
Oh my. Well, I mean, there's the answers that come first to mind, like your parents, like your siblings, things like that. Yeah. But I have been blessed in my life to have many mentors, people that have invested in me. The first person that just came to mind is a man named Mike Markey. He was my first internship boss at Nebraska Shakespeare Festival. I had a long part of my career was in arts marketing and arts management, and he definitely put me on a path and inspired me as to what a man of integrity is in the nonprofit workspace. And I credit him with a lot of the ways that I handle and manage staff to today.
Interesting.
So he now works at the Nebraska Arts Council and is deputy director there, and just an amazing individual. So that's people like that who have given me a step up to go to the next level in my career, are people that I think really walk their talk, right? Yeah. Those are people that inspire me. And then there's the national voices, like the social justice book that I'm reading right now, Talking with Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell, and all the books that I've read and listened to by Brene Brown. You know, I mean, just people that talk about authenticity and talk about meaningfulness in life, and where to find meaning. I mean, those are important things, and my faith guides me quite a bit, and I have mentors in that realm of my life as well.
Awesome. If you had a power to make one positive change in the world, what would that be?
My kids ask me this question, Marco, and I always say that I'd like the power to heal people.
Okay.
I always say that, and I think that healing is not just physical and illness. I think that really listening to somebody and helping them through a problem is just as valid. And so the struggles that I've had, I share those freely with people in my life, that I can help kind of lead them through a challenge that might be similar to something I've experienced. And your success story can be somebody else's too.
If you were to be an animal,
Oh,
what would that
gosh.
be?
I'm not much of an animal person. Is that
Well,
horrible to
if you-
say? Is that horrible to say?
Hey, well, just choose
but
one.
it's kind of like the interview question. Like, if you could be any animal, what animal would you be? I'd like to be taller. I'm a little bit on the short side, so I'd like to be able, from a metaphorical perspective, be able to see from a high level. So I'd say a giraffe.
A giraffe.
So I can have a full landscape of what's in front of me and be able to make the best choices possible, but also just to be taller, because 5'3", I wear heels every day.
Okay.
So.
Okay. What would be your advice, tip to my audience?
Tip to your audience: don't be afraid of starting something, because doing good, particularly for the community and investing in a cause that matters to you, start small. You don't have to take on the world all at once, but you'll find as you continue to invest in a cause or a meaningful area of the community that you'll want to do more, and that it'll be clear where your gifts and your talents and your strengths are going to lead you to do more for that cause and make a bigger impact. Start anywhere, though. And Share Omaha, I think, is a prime place that connects people to first-time opportunities to invest in a cause or a problem in the community, and you can spark long relationships there. So, thank you, Marco.
Marjorie, thank you so much for being on the show.
Marco, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Yeah.